The Detroit Lions already played. As a matter of fact, we kicked off week 4 with our Thursday night victory against the Green Bay Packers, and we have been the first team flexed for the 2023 season. It's kind of fitting. We were the absolute last game in 2022, in the 2022 regular season, and now we are the first flex of what I assume to be many more coming this year, because I am certain and I guarantee that the Detroit Lions will win the NFC North this year for the first time in its over 20 years of existence. But today we're going to do like we usually do every Tuesday of the NFL season and see where our Detroit Lions have moved up in the NFL power rankings. You have PFF, you have PFT. Everybody has their own power rankings. I just like to go to the NFL. It's kind of the only one I hang my hat on, so we will go there. Now, I have not looked at this. I've been trying to avoid anything power ranking all day long as I anticipate making this video, so I'm going to see this with you. Now, let's get right into it and see the NFL power rankings for the heading into week 5 for the 2023 NFL season. All right. So let's see if I can predict my way to the Detroit Lions. Last week, the Lions were 7, I believe, after moving up a spot to number 8. I'm going to say that the number 1 team is the San Francisco 49ers. They've been pretty much dominant for the last year and a half, and they're going to be number 1. Number 2, I'm going to say is the Philadelphia Eagles, the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, that means the Eagles should be 3. No, the Bills are 3. Okay. Now that is a surprise. So Kansas City moves up 1. The Buffalo Bills move up 2. Okay. 4 is not going to be Detroit. Philadelphia. Okay. I'm going to say that. Okay. Who's not in here? Okay. I'm going to say that number 5 is the Miami Dolphins. The Dallas Cowboys. See, I was going to flip between 5 and 6 being Miami and Dallas, which means that 6 is Miami. And then 7 is the Detroit Lions. Yep. So we did not move from last week's. It's kind of a bummer, man. That's kind of a, but all of these teams, nope. The Miami Dolphins lost. The Dallas Cowboys won. The Philadelphia Eagles won. So in my opinion, I know the Dolphins dropped down 5 spots from number 1 to 6, but they just could not put them in front of Detroit. Here's what they had to say. It's a new era in Motown. The Lions smashed the Packers at Lambeau Field last Thursday, then found out Friday that 2022 first-rounder Jameson Williams would be returning early from suspension. They officially became division favorites before the Williams news, and they're potentially adding exactly what they need in the speedy wide receiver. But Williams also returns with much to prove, given his lofty draft status, limited production, and nagging penchant for being unavailable. One thing to remember, he suffered a hamstring injury in August, played only preseason game, and played only preseason game, should be one somewhere in there, and couldn't communicate with the team during the first 3 weeks of his suspension. So expectations must be adjusted. But now the runway for him to be reacclimated is longer and begins right when Detroit embarks on a reasonable slice of schedule, even with competitive road games at Tampa and Baltimore on tap this month. He suffered a hamstring injury in August, played only preseason game. Well, I don't know. When you read, sometimes it throws you off how people, I don't know, that just doesn't sound right to me. You got a comma there. He suffered a hamstring injury in August, played only preseason game. I guess, yeah, it still doesn't flow well to me. But that's just could be the way that my mind works. But the Detroit Lions being at number 7. I'm assuming that they did that because of our competition versus the Buffalo Bills competition. I'm sorry, the Miami Dolphins competition. And they just, for me, if you used to be number 1 after putting 70 points on the Denver Broncos, then you go to Buffalo and you lose substantially. And to me, they were never, it seemed like it was close, but the game was out of hand. The first time that Miami had to punt, which almost was a turnover. The game was downhill from there. To me, the Detroit Lions should be at least 6. At least 6. I don't think we've been able to get back to 6 since we lost to the Seattle Seahawks in week 2. So Detroit Lions at 7 in the NFL, with number 8 being Baltimore, number 9 being the Seattle Seahawks, and number 10 being the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who cracked the top 10. Now, these next 2 weeks are going to be critical for the Detroit Lions. I said before, as we were coming off that loss to Seattle, that the Falcons and Chargers week 3 and 4 were must-win games, and we won those. To me, still must-win. I don't think these next 2 games are must-win. Carolina is, you absolutely should win. That's not even a must. You should. That, to me, I think that's in the bag, not being arrogant. I just think we can beat them. I really do. We should beat up on them. Like, after what we did to the Packers, after putting up Seattle. If you look at Seattle, if our defense could have stopped anybody, we would be 4-0 right now, right? We pretty much manhandled the Falcons, and that was the start of our kind of defensive run that we're going on. So I think the Tampa Bay game, that one is something that I think is kind of, for me, a mini trap game. We're going to be going to Florida. It's hot, but that game has now been flexed. Will the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have Mike Evans, which I don't think we've lost to Baker Mayfield ever. So to me, that's the game right there. And then we go play the Baltimore Ravens. But there's a good possibility that we could go into Baltimore at 5-1. But again, it's about the opponent right in front of us. And I'm not looking past them. It's possible they could even have Chase Claypool by game time, but I'm not sure he'll even play. It's just a rumor going around that Chase could either end up on the Chargers or the Carolina Panthers, but I don't really think he's going to be a non-factor because he's not going to be in play if he gets traded sometime this week. And even if he was, we'll have Mosley and Jerry Jacobs, and I think they can handle Chase Claypool. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And I'm sorry about the paragraph. When it just didn't sound right to me, it threw me off. And instead of redoing this video, I just said, you know what? Sometimes you got to keep the imperfections in there and that way you remain human. You know what I mean? Not just a machine. But anyway, you guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions. Let me know what you think down below. And don't forget about the Uno's Pizzeria watch party that's going to be October 22nd. She's already informed me we've already sold 11 tickets. I think our max is 50, including the staff. So consider buying your tickets. The Lions are on the road that day. So come check us out, man. I'll see you then.